Hey guys, how's it going and welcome back for another Total War video with the Terminator. Empire and Napoleon may have their problems, but they also have some of the most fun mods I've ever played in the series. The Great War mod, for example, for Napoleon turns the setting into World War I with brilliant historical accuracy and immersion. The Empire 2 Total War mod drastically changes Empire to be more challenging, and there are dozens and dozens of other mods just like these that turn these games into something absolutely stellar. If you're like me, you're always on the lookout not just for a new Total War mod to play, but especially one that makes either Empire or Napoleon even more of a joy than it already is, and I promise you, today's spotlight is one such mod. Field Commander Napoleon is, as the name suggests, a Napoleon mod that focuses mainly on the battle aspect of the game, overhauling the units of every faction, adding a few new factions and units, improving battle mechanics and effects, and more, all to create a fully immersive and highly tactical Napoleonic battle mod. In this video, I'll be going through all the reasons why it's definitely worth a try and why you need to check it out. So let's get started. Created by a group of passionate modders led by Dan the Mantis, FCN is a Total War Napoleon mod that aims to deliver historically accurate, realistic, and visually stunning battles. That being said, I will mention a few submods at the end of the video that I will recommend you check out, and one of them is aimed at improving the campaign in parallel with FCN, so keep that in mind. But the focus of FCN itself is squarely on making battles large-scale, strategic, and historical. Now, yes, there's a lot here that is reminiscent of the highly popular Napoleonic Total War 3, but I think you'll agree as I start going into the finer details here, there's plenty in FCN that makes it stand apart in a really positive way. First of all, and what just blows my mind when I first played FCN with the modders last week, is the sheer scale of these battles. Army size in this mod can go up to 30 units per player, and through submods that can get increased even more to 45 units. So at max, we're talking about players controlling actual divisions of troops with a total battle size of 50 to 60,000, which is just insane. With a max of just under 9,000 troops in your control, you can see how suddenly the battles start turning into hour-long strategic engagements rather than the 10 to 20 minute smaller tactical skirmishes, and that is a truly incredible thing. Together with the over 150 new custom-made multiplayer maps made by the Lords Modding Collective that are far larger than vanilla, by the way, you can start to understand the scale of what this mod has achieved in Napoleon Total War. This kind of warfare is so large that what often ends up happening, and this is amazing, is players will start working together to prioritize certain geographically advantageous areas. They'll start using units together and strategize how to employ Napoleonic tactics to outmaneuver the enemy, and best of all, this all leads to proper usage of different types of units for their roles. From skirmishers to grenadiers to line infantry to light and heavy cavalry, 16-pounders versus 6-pounders, all of these of course have roles in base game Napoleon, but how you use them in FCN, how you time going from line to square formation to defend against a charging cavalry unit, or how you push up skirmishers against a line versus using grenadiers is all super important to be aware of and can really put you in the advantage versus your opponent. The point here is the sheer scale of these battles and the strategy that arises from them all start forcing you to get to know your units, get to know Napoleonic tactics, and actually start using them, which is an amazing thing. Speaking of unit role diversity, alongside the new factions with Canada, the United States, and the Confederation of the Rhine, every faction in the game has had a complete unit overhaul with brand new unit cards that look brilliant, brand new unit visuals that are historically accurate, if not at least authentic, and of course reworked stats to make them play each of their roles as they would have been back then. The unit visuals are worth talking about especially as they are all custom made by the modders with excellent detail, with a variety of uniforms, weapons, and they really do an amazing job of adding immersion to the battles. With the overhaul and unit diversity, of course, there's been a fair bit of rebalancing as well. And while some factions will always have a hefty edge over the others in some ways, cough Britain cough, other factions like Italy, the Rhineland, France, and others have really great advantages too. And this is a feature that really sets FCN apart from other mods in my opinion. So much has gone into these units, their roles on the battlefield, and their nuanced little differences here and there. It's made a huge impact on how strategic the battles have to be, because essentially if you don't know your enemy and their capabilities, if you don't know your own units, you are guaranteed to have a hard time. And this is all just scratching the surface of what this mod adds to Napoleon. Overhauled sound effects that really do sound just amazing, visual effects with permission from the great ACW mod including updates like smoke and blood, a realistic physics overhaul to make things like windage, deviance, velocity, and bounce proper projectile mechanics, a 2-rank fire system from your infantry. There's so much here to speak of that makes the battle some of the best I've ever played in the game. A few more favorites that I'll highlight for you here are the new and improved historically accurate unit spacing, which really makes a huge difference, not just to the visual aspect of the battles, but also to the gameplay, adding even more functionality to things like the 2-rank file system. The morale mechanics have been completely redone as well, to a point where things feel more realistic. Each man feels a bit more mortal and really does need the inspiration of a nearby commander or general. And finally, the stability of this massive mod, especially when you get into battles of 30, 40, 50,000 troops. While there is a bit of lag here and there, it's an incredibly stable system, which is just amazing. Finally, it's worth mentioning some of the sub-mods you can get for FCN, some of which can even be played as standalones, by the way. Divisions is a decent sub-mod that I definitely recommend, as it increases the unit sizes to a max of 45. It adds Old Bavaria as a playable faction and tweaks some of the visual and sound effects to some degree of success as well. And there's the single player submod, which utilizes a lot of the additions in FCN as well as make a few of its own changes, which is very decently done. It's only compatible with version 4.2 though of FCN, so keep that in mind when installing. Altogether, what Field Commander Napoleon offers here is something that pushes the boundaries of what Napoleon is capable of, especially when it comes to the battle experience. They are the biggest I've ever seen, the historical accuracy is praiseworthy, and for the first time the player has no choice but to strategize a plan for victory, which I think is just brilliant. I've played a few battles with the modders, and I have to say it was some of the most fun I've had playing Napoleon in a long time. And that's it for today, guys. Field Commander Napoleon is available to download from the ModDB page I've linked below in the video description. All you have to do is go into the files page, download the latest version of the mod, extract the files using a program like WinZip or WinRAR, place the data folder to the directory on your screen, and place the user.scripts file in this directory on your screen. Once you've done that, you should be able to load up the mod and launch using Napoleon on Steam. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and let me know your thoughts or questions in the comment section below. I would love to hear what you think about everything I've discussed here today, and of course, what you think of Field Command Napoleon. Don't forget to subscribe for more Total War content, gameplay, and news, and thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.